How do you make sure that that hasn't happened in Duval County, and what lessons have you learned to make sure it won't happen in the future?
List maintenance is tough. List maintenance is tough. You don't want to truly disenfranchise. That word's tossed out a lot. It means take away the right to vote. It doesn't mean discourage. It means take away the right. You don't want to do that. We got lit up years ago from a fellow. We want to use his facility for early voting. He asked us, "Why is my son still in your role? He hasn't lived here in years." He asked, "What do you do with the mail that we send him?" So I threw it in the trash can. Said, "If you don't return it to us, we don't know he moved. If he doesn't fill out a national change of address, we don't know he moved." I would run national change of address and NCOA at least twice a month to move people where they were supposed to go, either within the state, within the county, or we would flag them as no longer eligible for Florida. But by the same token, if a supervisor goes to a funeral and knows the person that was deceased, they can't take away the name unless we get documentation. Unless the state gives documentation, the family brings in documentation. We don't like that. That's how the rules are. It is tough to try to chase folks that aren't eligible. Folks will vote that you don't think should be eligible. I don't like it. Somebody goes out and commits a crime. They haven't had their rights removed yet. I know I'm straying from your question a little bit, but they're not convicted yet. They still have the right to vote. Even if some group or person says, "Did you see this in the paper?" "Yes, I did." Court hasn't found them guilty yet. I don't like that, but that's what the statutes address you to do. You read the question again? I think I got caught in the weeds.
How do you make sure that you don't have more people listed in your roles as either voters or inactive voters than you have adult males and females?
And at one time, Florida was a member of ERIC. ERIC was great in that information was exchanged between states. Unfortunately, some of the more liberal states were not included in ERIC. Florida decided to pull out of ERIC for a host of reasons, and I've heard all over the gamut, and it became too political to whatever the reasons are. That was a great tool. I had heard there was talk of having another ERIC-ish type system to compare voter rolls. So CDF, or whoever the group is, doesn't have to do the lead work. It's all in one consolidated location. They can tell us. But voting rolls in a large county is tough. We had folks that had not voted in many years on our roll, where the name was a little different than the Department of Health had. It wasn't a direct match, so the state didn't flag it and push it down to us. But we were getting felon notices from the clerk of the court for years ago when I started pulling files from them to compare against our files and find folks that weren't eligible.
Thank you.